Hello and welcome to your in-depth weekly horoscope for week commencing the 12th of September for the Sun or the Ascendant. I'm going to give you a flavour of what to expect this week for us all collectively, but please stay with me as I dive deep and give you each of the 12 zodiac signs in forensic detail. Now, late last week there was a full moon in the sign of Pisces, but it was angling to Uranus, the planet of change and the planet of truth. And you know, if we can use that more innovative energy of Uranus as we come into this week, it would be a good thing to do. And that means being open to fresh approaches. But we can take a fresh approach to either our spiritual, emotional and psychological well-being or to our physical well-being. And it means that the available energy we do have is likely to be limited somewhat. And therefore we need to apply it to things that are really meaningful, and that means prioritizing. However, the Sun is linking brilliantly to Pluto. When they're in a trine, this can see us changing something physically in our world, but also can trigger deep changes within us. And sometimes Pluto pushes us to change things before we're even conscious that that actually might be a good thing for us. Also, there is an opposition between Mercury and the other ruler of Pisces, Jupiter. And this is going to be going on right from now, right through to the end of the month. And they're both in retrograde, and in their own way they both have an impact on travel but also ideas. So I think it's important that we stay quite grounded around our ideas and philosophies. We may find ourselves or see generally quite a lot of different viewpoints competing against one another. I know that's quite a feature of modern life, but it can be even more prevalent. But if you are journeying anywhere or you're thinking of buying a new mode of transport, it's just asking us to try to stay very realistic, keep one foot on terra firma. Now, all week, Venus and Mars are also in somewhat of a squabble. And Venus in the sign of Virgo along with the Sun, it's not its best location. It's known as being in full. And Mars is in Gemini, so what you've got is the quick ideas of Mars in Gemini competing with the rather more cautious and practical energies of Venus in Virgo, but not quite so affectionate and openly sharing of emotion. And also the quarter moon, which occurs on Saturday, reflects that square between Venus and Mars because it's in Gemini, and that can create quite a lot of frenetic energy. So we've got nervous energy washing around this week, and then we've got the physical drive of Virgo being challenged by the moon position and then Neptune. So energy a little bit sensitive, and important that if we're going through changes, the changes we're trying to achieve are achievable. And I think it's just all about slowing things down and just making sure the things we're working on are the most meaningful and important strands and not getting scattered too much. So Libra, your week commencing the 12th of September forecast sees the Sun and your ruler Venus in house 12. Very reflective area. And also the Sun is opposed by Neptune. So your physical vitality could be a little bit on the low side this week. But Mercury in your sign is in retrograde, but in an opposition with Jupiter. This is an interesting aspect. Jupiter also in retrograde. Perhaps there could be a conversation or a connection or some planning around a holiday, or you're getting to know someone. And also Mars is in quite a bold part of your situation, and that's pushing and provoking Venus to take a walk into the unknown. And the Sun actually is forging a very deep link to Pluto. Now, I know Pluto has been such a controversial influence for so long, but in this situation I think the Sun and Pluto are giving you an opportunity to think very, very deeply about some of your most personal needs, and the moves you make can be not necessarily very quick, They don't actually have to happen this week, but I think the food for thought you're gaining can be extremely valuable. So that Mercury opposite Mercury aspect can bring a spark of enthusiasm. Mars can push you to be a bit more daring, but just at a time when Venus may need to be a bit more protective and cautious. However, Saturn and Uranus do get ever closer to that abrasive right angle, which really becomes exact all but 1 minute, believe it or not, from the 2nd to the 12th of October. And Saturn, of course, is in your sector of romance and self-expression, and Uranus in your sector of longer-term shared finances. So all in all, I think Neptune's influence on the Sun just suggests you might not have an enormous amount of physical drive. You may need some time just to mull things over, but there could be that bright, even flirty conversation coming between Mercury and Jupiter. But at a deeper level, there's something that you're getting clearer and clearer about, and it does really relate to your personal identity, about where you live, or even matters related to your family or extended family. And that is going to be very, very valuable to you, particularly once we get to Cardinal Quadrant 3 and the Sun bursts back into your sign later this month with the autumnal equinox.